And another thing is that what is, of course, the biggest thing, it is that those are real people. We have to respect those people. And that's a big difference to fiction. Because music is a very, very powerful emotional tool. We can take very normal scene. We can, you know, there is a woman sitting in cafeteria, and I can very, very easily compose mental problems to that lady. It would be very easy. It looks normal, but music gives someone other information. And in fiction, I have many times been in a situation where they have closed the editing, and then the director comes to me and say, "Oh God, we have finished editing, but we are missing all kind of emotional things from this film. Could you please compose a little bit more happiness to these people, a little bit more sadness?" And I have to say that it's not the nicest way to start composing, that I have to kind of re-edit the film emotionally. So, if I'm coming back to this ritualistic music or kind of icon, and then we take concert music. Concert music has its structure, and it's fully composed. It has all the elements. It's like you take Mona Lisa painting. You don't have to add any more jewels to that lady. You know, it already works. And that's quite often the problem when you take already existing composed music and put it to your film. It is already a piece of art. It has its dramaturgical spin. It can be very difficult to put it if you have edited something, and then it always ends up in a kind of fade out. We know very well when to start. This is the place. There he comes out from the car, lights a cigarette, music starts. But if we have existing music, it's very rarely when the structure of the music is the same as in your film. Then it's always this fade out. I get seasick with that. So we have to then think, what are the conditions of film music? What's the difference of I call it concert music. It can be punk music, it can be Beethoven, but I mean that music what is made only for, it is already a piece of art, and it's not film music. So we have to look what are the conditions of film music. Of course, the very, very first thing is to support the film. Absolutely. And I see the film music, I see a kind of big partiture. There is images, there's different characters, there's other sounds, there's storylines, there's everything, and then there is music. So it means that it can have much less information. Normally, it has to have much less information because there is already somebody's talking, birds are singing, cars are driving. In the music, there has to be much less information, but carefully chosen. So if we have, first we have images, we have all kind of storylines, and then we have soundtrack. And even inside the soundtrack, we have different elements. What is, of course, dialogue or voiceover. Very often there is one of those. And then there is 100% sound. And then there's all kind of Foley sounds. And then we have music. So first there is a big picture. There's image, all kind of information, what we see. And then there is music track. And even that music track is separate to many different things. So it's very limited. But maybe the thing is that, first thing is that you have to follow the structure of the film, the way it's edited. So it's very typical in music that you need music to go over from one scene to another. So it's a very typical task to me that please compose 17 seconds of excitement. So you could never play that kind of music in concert hall, or it would be Dadaistic concert. So the structure of film music is very much limited for narration, for images. But it's also a good thing that if you are composing music for a certain film, then you don't have to use that fade-out effect. You can really nicely compose when somebody's putting cup to the table, there it starts, and then it leads somewhere. It really gives much more structure than that fade-out system. And then one of the conditions is that you have to work with the whole film, and you have to work with the structure. So I would say that each theme, it should be like a character. It has to have reason to appear. And then it has to have development. It has to have a kind of life. Or it's very strange to me, I see it very often in the films, that there is, 5 minutes before the ending of the film, there comes a new music. I'm totally emotionally out. It's like taking a new character in what you have not heard, you have not seen. 5 minutes before the film ends, there comes a policeman who has a monologue, and then it goes away. It's very difficult to understand that kind of use of music. Yes, of course, that kind of dramaturgy that something appears in a very late stage, it can also be very refreshing. I also like very much Dadaistic things. One thing in music definitely is that it's very, very much changing our sense of time. Very, very much. Because, of course, in the film there is so many timelines same time. It can be 1.5 hours, what it takes, or 60 minutes. And then same time it can be from 17th century to the future. So that there are so many different timelines. But basically what music very often makes, the scenes can last much longer. I always have to say to the editors and to the directors, please don't cut it too quick. Because when we put the music, those scenes, they can definitely stand much longer. And structure-wise, music, if the color of the music or the music is very strong and you get very strong emotional feeling of it, then later you can use only small fragments of that music to remind you of what has happened. I mean that if you think about horror films, for example, but you can use that also in documentaries, that you learn that when there is ding, 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 it's a killer. Killer is coming. Then 10 minutes later you need only ding, 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 and you know, oh my goodness, killer is around. So you can inform with sound, make all that kind of structural things to remind of the things. Or later you put the music, what you had already, and that's what we do in music dramaturgy. That we are kind of creative. We are making memories. I was starting with this national hymn, and nobody had memories with that song. It didn't touch emotionally. It's the same situation when we start to think about music for the film. Somebody comes from Palestine, somebody from Germany, we have very different memories. And that's why music dramaturgy is, in a way, they are created memories. Because it's something like third time when music comes, that then it turns emotional. First time you hear it, okay, it was a theme. And second time, oh, I think I've heard this before. And third time, you know already, okay, this was the thing. So if you want to point something very important and support it with music, you have to hide before that at least twice, maybe more music before it. The same theme, the same color. It has to appear somewhere, because then you are ready to really to take it when you want.